And talking about disasters and weather, and while it's kind of out of the headlines now, of course, Napier, Gisborne, that whole Hawke's Bay just so badly struck by Cyclone Gabrielle. And, geez, I still think back, and the pictures particularly that came out of there of the devastation in places like the Esk Valley, they were severe. They were some of the worst we've seen since Bowler. But we move on, don't we? And we talk about other things, and people still have to clean up and have to rebuild businesses and lives. So I thought it was worthwhile right now to check in and see how that's going. And we're joined now by the Mayor of Napier City, Kirsten Wise. Kirsten, thanks for coming back on the platform. Nice to talk to you again.
Oh, look, my pleasure to be here.
Hey, how's it going in general?
Well, it would be fair to say as a region we're still doing it pretty tough. You know, we're well and truly in the midst of recovery and got a lot of people around, you know, the whole of Hawke's Bay and obviously Tairāwhiti that are still really hurting and still in the middle of trying to sort out where to next.
Kirsten, have you got the basics back on, the power and the water? Is that for most of the area, most of the region fixed?
It is, yeah. There are still some of our more rural areas on generators, but certainly on the whole, the bulk of the region has power and has all those critical lifelines back in place, thankfully. So now really it's about, you know, where to from here in terms of rebuilding. For us, our wastewater treatment plant, which was inoperable for a number of weeks, is partially fixed, but we've still got a way to go, and July is when we're aiming to have that back to being fully operational. All
right, and I imagine you are looking at that facility and saying, how do we make it more resilient?
Oh, absolutely. Part of the work program has been including, you know, lifting electrical circuits and things like that above where the floodline was, so that we can try and mitigate against any future events.
Kirsten, last time we spoke, I know we were talking about kind of the problems of red tape helping, you know, or getting in the way of the rebuild. Has that largely been solved?
Oh, look, in terms of the decisions around zoning and rebuilding, no, it hasn't. And it's incredibly frustrating for all of our community. We just want to move forward. There was, of course, the announcement made yesterday by Minister Robertson about the 3 categories. That's all good and well, you know, but there's been no information about what the process will be from here to make those decisions about which properties sit in those 3 categories and what happens after they have actually, you know, been told, you know, you're not going to be able to rebuild. So still a huge lack of information. Yeah.
Kirsten, I've also been reading headlines and stories about the Red Cross Relief Fund and the suggestion that the Red Cross has gathered tens of millions for relief efforts, but has only spent 2 or 3. Is that true, and what is going on there?
I'm not sure exactly what they've spent so far. They have given us $1 million. I do completely understand people's frustration about the fact that that funding hasn't been released to a great extent so far. I did actually meet with Sarah Stewart-Black a few weeks ago.
And she is the what?
She's the Chief Executive of Red Cross. And, you know, I actually have confidence that they're really just trying to follow a good process. So a lot of people have asked, why aren't they just paying for the silt to be removed?